Welcome to Teed Up Sports Podcast, your new go-to pod for sports, entertainment, culture, and humor. Today on Teed Up, we preview Week 6 of the NFL, Thursday Night Football between the Patriots and the Giants, and we talk the MLB Championship Series. I'm Brock, and I'm Teed Up. All right, we are back. We got some Week 6 previews going on. We got the Thursday night game tonight, the old Super Bowl classic, the Patriots and the Giants. This time we got Danny Dimes instead of Eli Manning. We got the Monday Night Football recap. We're going to talk about the Browns struggling. We talk about the Nats, too. The Nats and Dodgers had a little battle yesterday. The Nats are victorious, so it's going to be the Nats and the Cardinals in the championship series. And then, we got the Astros-Rays Game 5 tonight, so a lot on our plate. Let's get right into it, though. Let's talk about Monday, though. The Browns, they got absolutely demolished. They put up 3 points against the 49ers, and the 49ers, honestly, should have put up at least a 40 spot on them. They missed 3 field goals, and they still won the game 31-3. Absolutely insane. I needed Kittle for fantasy. He delivered. I was happy about that. He needed 20 points. That was his first good fantasy game all season, basically, and he did it, so I needed that. The Browns, I don't even want to say that they're struggling, but, right now, they're just losing games and that they shouldn't lose, you know what I mean? They got the good Ravens win. They had the easy Jets win, but, these Titans games where they're losing by, 30-plus, and the 49ers, they're losing by, 30-plus, basically. They're just a bad look for the team right now, and they can't be affording that. Malik, would you say that Sunday versus the Seahawks, is that a must-win for them to get this season on track?
Every game of the season is a must-win for them. They suck.
Well, they got
need
some
to
easy
get
games.
some of their. They need to get their hope back. No one respects them, bro. They're beat, bro. John,
I don't know. Looking at their schedule, they play the Dolphins. That's a guaranteed win. Play the Bengals twice.
I think so.
That's pretty. Hey, the Dolphins are a guaranteed win.
You would think so.
They got the Bengals twice. They got the Steelers twice, who are on a third-string quarterback. I don't think Mason Rudolph's going to come back, although I guess it is possible that he does come back. But regardless, they play the Steelers twice still. They play the Ravens at home still. They're scared. Look, they play the Pats. That's probably a guaranteed loss unless the Pats, start falling apart, which I don't think will happen. But the Browns still got some easy games. It's really possible for this team to win 9 games.
No game is easy for them.
We
clearly seen that, bro.
The Dolphins and the Bengals, bro.
They struggle with the Jets, bro. After seeing that,
they didn't really actually struggle
with the Jets, bro.
They
struggle with the Jets.
Not even.
Yes, they did, bro. Baker threw a pick, and they put up what, I think
20,
20?
23.
And a lot of turnovers, a lot of 4-and-outs against the Jets, who their whole defense was gone. They were on their third QB. Bro, you shouldn't be struggling against a team like that. The Ravens, if we're being honest, Nick Chubb won that game. The Browns didn't really win that game. So we haven't seen the Browns do anything impressive yet. So every game is all those easy dubs. They're not easy, bro. The Browns still need to show us something.
Well, they lose this week. They're going to be 2-4. Then they play the Pats. So it's safe to say they'll be 2-5. That's dagger in the heart kind of thing. Even with all those easy games that I just stated, can't really come out of a 2-5 hole. It's hard to do. However, if they win this week, they're 3-3. Lose to the Pats, 3-4. They still got those easy games. They could still potentially maybe win the division, make the playoffs. That's still a possibility because with the Ravens, what we're seeing with the Ravens right now, the Ravens are just kind of struggling too. Granted, the Ravens do have easy games as well. They still got to play the Bengals twice. They play them this Sunday. But, they're in the hunt, the Browns. So I think that game versus the Seahawks, that's going to show what the team is made of. How do they respond off a loss like that? But on the flip side, you got guys like Odell, trade rumors with Odell now, which happens. It's Odell Beckham diva. We know what this guy's about. I was a Giants fan. I knew this guy my whole career being a Giants fan. Always liked him. Always thought he was really good. He's still a top 5 receiver in my opinion. But wherever he goes, drama follows. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for that catch changed his life. If it wasn't for that catch, I'm sure he'd still be a humble receiver, that kid that we know out of LSU. But it's not the same anymore. This guy's like a celebrity. He's bigger than the Browns. His whole brand is bigger than the Browns themselves. I feel like they should just trade Odell, get a piece back, something that can help the team out. Maybe they don't really need anything on the offensive end. Maybe get a decent D lineman. maybe get a decent O-lineman. They got to do something, though. I would honestly consider trading Odell at this rate because you guys already have targets. You know what I mean? They have Landry. They have Callaway. They have Njoku coming back. Like, there's still good players on this team. Odell is just, like, luxury of the riches. You know what I mean? You don't really need him on the team right now. And he doesn't even get targeted. Him and Baker don't have that connection. So it's just not there. You know what I mean? You can't force it. They're not, but they should think about it. And plus, there is rumors the Eagles were interested in them. Eagles give him a good O-lineman.
Damn, that'd be tough.
That would be tough.
Crazy.
That would be so nice to see.
I don't want to see Wentz to Odell. That's annoying.
Nah, that would be amazing.
Let's get into the Giants at the Patriots, though. So, you know the Giants, they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. It's just what we do. We got Danny Dimes here.
He said it's just what we do.
It's just what we do. Danny Dimes, he's looking to be the new Eli, beating the Patriots, continuing that trend. Although I don't think it's going to happen. The Giants have basically nobody in this game. No Ingram, no Shepard, no Saquon, obviously.
Is Tate playing?
Yeah, Tate's playing. It's going to be Tate and big play Slay and 2 backup running backs, and that's probably it.
Damn.
But Danny Dimes, even that game against the Vikings, they did lose. He looked really good. Like, this guy, like, his name, I thought it was just kind of, like, funny at first, but, like, his name is accurate as hell. This guy really is Danny Dimes. Like, all his throws, even, like, incomplete passes, like, it's usually the receiver's fault. Like, this guy really just continues to make plays. And the Pats, I don't even know if the Pats are taking this game that seriously. There's a lot of guys on the questionable list right now. Julian Edelman's questionable. Josh Gordon's questionable. Patrick Chung is questionable. So they might play. Will they play the whole game? Will they take this game really serious? The Pats take every game serious, granted. But I think if even one of the 2 of those guys rest, I think we're going to see the Pats just kind of run the ball, do what they've been doing all season, which is just beat the teams like that you need to beat, but you don't have to like put in a lot of work for it. You know what I mean? They'll try for like a quarter, and then the rest is just pound the football and hope the defense does its work. Brady's pretty much sucked all year. I'm not even gonna lie, he hasn't been good. So if he continues that where he's throwing picks and stuff, maybe Jackrabbit gets a pick or something. Maybe the Giants can make some noise. I like that big spread here though. We're gonna get into that in the best bets. Let's do some Week 6 previews, though. We got the Chiefs that the Texans are going to look into, the Seahawks at the Browns. We're going to break that down a little bit more. Saints and the Jags, the Eagles at the Vikings, and the 49ers at the Rams. Start off with your Chiefs, Malik. What's going on with the Chiefs? What's going on with all those injuries?
Everyone's hurt. I mean, what do you mean what's going on? Everyone's hurt. This game's not really, like, serious. If they lose, they lose. If they win, good win with a broken-down team. That's what it is, basically.
Well, you guys got Tyreek Hill back. How you think that changes the team?
I mean, it's not for sure he's playing, but he probably should play. He's been practicing for 2 weeks. It's not going to change the team, bro. They have no O-line.
I would.
Their whole O-line
makes that team
Bro, their
go.
whole O-line is hurt, bro.
Mahomes, he's scrambling.
Yeah, I
make
mean,
some plays.
He's going to make plays. That's the only way we could win is if, like, he scrambles the whole fucking game.
You could say that Texans O-line's fucked up, too. So
yeah, they are.
Walk a mile in their shoes a little bit.
Yeah, that's type true.
And the Texans, I mean, they're on upset alert here. They've been a pretty decent team. They got some weird games. They've got some good games, though, as well. Like I said, I can't really get a read on this team for the life of me. Like, when I think they're going to do bad, they do okay. When I think they're going to do okay, they do bad. They just don't make a lot of sense to me. But I think Tyreek Hill coming back, that's a pretty big upgrade for the Chiefs. They've been throwing it to fucking Pringle recently, Byron Pringle or whatever, and Mecole Hardman. Like, those guys, they're good football players, but they're not going to get the job done for you. You know what I mean? Tyreek Hill is a certified savage. Like, this guy's going to do his thing. I think the Chiefs, they're going to be in a much better spot than they were on Sunday versus the Colts when pretty much everything just fell apart for them so quick. Let's get to the Seahawks at the Browns. Seahawks got some extra rest. They played on Thursday, coming off that huge win. They're going to go to Cleveland, and Browns got a little bit of no rest. They played on Monday, so short rest for the Browns, extra rest for the Seahawks. It's going to be a difficult game for both teams, but I think the Browns are at a little bit of they're a little bit hungrier for this win, if you feel me. Like I said with the Browns, they got some easy games on their schedule, but I think this is the game of the season for the Browns. You know what I mean? I said that about the Ravens. They pulled through. There's like 3 games of the season, you know what I mean? And when it's early like this and when you've got some struggles, the Browns, they need to do their job. You think the Browns have a chance versus the Seahawks?
Browns are beat, bro. Browns suck. That's what it is, bro.
I mean, I guess they got a chance.
They kind of don't, bro, if you're being honest. You guys are just looking at, like, the stars that's on the team, bro. If you watch them play, they don't get shit done. Like, Nick Chubb single-handedly won them that Ravens game.
That's
and
what
then
he does.
the win against the Jets. But he didn't do shit against the 49ers, so it's not like...
Well, they were down early. They were down 14-0 before he even got a touch.
That doesn't mean nothing.
when you're down
They're
like that,
still
you can't.
They're still giving him the ball. He just wasn't doing shit with it. They're
True.
stopping him.
Their D line's crazy though. They got Bosa and whatnot.
But bro, like they Browns are just not a good team right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I'm staying off this game.
I don't think they have a chance against the Seahawks at all. Like at all.
Betting wise,
the spread for that is a little disrespectful to the Seahawks, to be honest.
You taking the Seahawks?
Yeah, there's 1.5. That's like disrespectful.
I think betting wise, I can't touch this game just because like the Browns, they're good when they face controversy. It's weird. They did that against the Ravens. They did that with the Jets. You know, this team is just an up and down stock. They hit their ceiling, then they hit their floor, then they hit their ceiling, then they hit their floor. I really like. I'm 2-0 when I bet the Browns this year. Actually, I did technically bet them on the podcast for the 49ers, but I didn't actually bet it. I put like $20 on it with a friend. That's it, because I was just focused on baseball. But yeah, man, it's just the Browns. You know, I feel like they win one week, they lose the next week big, and I think that's going to continue like the whole season, except when they play like garbage teams. Obviously, like the Dolphins, they'll probably be fine. Saints and the Jags. So we got some more Jalen Ramsey news. Jalen Ramsey's been all over the place. He was chilling with the Texans. He was chilling with Deshaun Watson while the Jags are playing the Panthers. Interesting to see. Jalen Ramsey is just he's being an op, but he is playing Sunday, which is a good sign to see if you're a Jags fan or a supporter or you just want to see them win. The Jags are going to have Jalen Ramsey Sunday versus the Saints. And I feel like this is Teddy Bridgewater's like death game because he's gotten by barely 3 games in a row. The Bucs game, he actually did play pretty well, but Teddy Bridgewater isn't really a good quarterback. You know, he can't really throw that much. He doesn't even have legs. It's kind of weird. Like you would think he's fast, but he's just not. I feel like Bridgewater gets absolutely destroyed this game. The Saints defense has been pretty good this year. Can't even lie about that, but I'm not really trusting them to continue this. There's names on the defense, and Lattimore's insane. But aside from that, they've just been kind of grinding it out, making some plays. But I think this is the death game for the Saints. Like this is a hard game to win. The Jags are hungry for it. They kind of had a bad game against the Panthers. They had like 3 fumbles. Without that, they would have been fine. You know, they put up a really good fight against the Panthers. Just shit didn't break their way, which happens in football. Happens all the time. Christian McCaffrey also had like second best game of his life, which was insane. And I think the Jags are gonna come through. Like I said, this is Bridgewater's death game. I wouldn't be surprised if he throws 2 picks here. Just has a really bad game. He's just getting taunted all day.
Man, he's going to be chilling.
You think he's going to throw – how much yards would you say he gets throwing?
Probably 200.
That's
180.
I feel like he gets 160.
Nah, bro.
And he gets – I feel like he's really going to have a bad game. That defense is
bro, he's
a
gonna
menace,
get 200, 180. Even though he's probably going to get
180
80 yards, 80 to 100 yards just off of screen passes to Kamara and shit.
No, that's true. That's true. Kamara is like the make or break guy because we saw what Christian McCaffrey did. If Kamara could, simulate that and do something similar to that, maybe the Saints have a chance. But besides from that, I'm gonna take Minshew and Fournette here. I think they're gonna ride. Take this one to the house. Let's get to the Eagles at the Vikings. So this is a pretty important game. It's kind of one of those games you look past at first, but these are 2, borderline Super Bowl caliber teams. I think the Eagles are more Super Bowl caliber than the Vikings.
So the Vikings not Super Bowl caliber at all, bro.
Last year they were Super Bowl caliber. People were saying that. Well, last year there was talks about that, and this is the same exact team. You know what I mean? But last year people were saying that they were going to make the.
Oh, because of 2 years.
Because they upgraded, yeah. So and they only missed the playoffs by a game.
They're barely playoff caliber right now. Eagles are Super Bowl.
A little bit.
Eagles are Super Bowl caliber.
Well, the Eagles and the Vikings have the same record. They both have the same kind of. I don't even know, resume, I guess you want to call it.
Kinda, yeah.
The Vikings have beaten some good teams. The Eagles have kind of not played good pretty much all year, I'd say. But right now, the Eagles, if they don't win this game, looking at their schedule, they have a really tough road ahead. They play the Cowboys on the road, they play the Bears, they play the Saints. They have a tough road ahead. This is not an easy game for the Eagles right now. I'm actually going to pull up their schedule really quick because there is a ton of teams that they're just going to be struggling against. They play the Bills, which is a really good defense. They play the Patriots. They play the Seahawks. Their schedule right now is not easy by any means. This is the game they have to win because if they don't win this game, say they're 3-3, they can't just win out versus opponents like that.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys are going to tread water, believe me. The Cowboys are going to do their thing. They're probably going to win 2 games to every one or something like that. So, tough game for the Eagles here, but you could say the same for the Vikings. The Vikings got to make some noise. There was some Diggs controversy or whether or not he wants to be traded. He was like winking at reporters, I want to be in Minnesota, being a little wise guy. So we're gonna see what Kirk Cousins is about. He doesn't really beat over 500 teams, but I feel like this is a good spot for the Vikings. They're at home. They need a game like this. They need something to prove that themselves that they're still a good team. I'm gonna take the Vikings here. We'll get into that in the best bets though. We got the 49ers at the Rams next. So it's a pretty important game for both teams. Obviously, the 49ers are 4-0. The Rams are 3-2 because of that Greg the Leg missed kick. I'll never forget that. It's heartbreaking. Cooks is injured. He has a concussion, and Gurley is expected to miss this game, but I'm not 100% sure if he's going to actually miss the game. Malcolm Brown will be probably getting a ton of snaps, so if you're on fantasy, definitely get Malcolm Brown. That guy is going to be probably making a ton of noise because he's actually pretty good from what I've seen, and he's been there. He knows the playbook. It's not like he's new or anything. That's just he's fine. He can replace Gurley. Granted, he isn't Gurley, but the way Gurley's been playing because he's not 100%, I feel like that's an amazing pickup in fantasy. He's probably going to have a really great week. McVay. This is a little fun stat about Sean McVay. He's 10-1 with extra time. The only extra time game he lost was versus Bill Belichick in the Patriots Super Bowl. So McVay, when you give him a little bit extra time, he's at that Thursday game. He's got a little more time to prep. He does his thing. He does this thing. So I'd expect the Rams to win this game. This is one of my favorite games of the week for the Rams. 49ers also got less time since they played on Monday. Should be an interesting game there. That's the battle of the NFC West right there because the Seahawks are cruising. So if the Seahawks somehow lose to the Browns, Rams can win that. They're back in that. I feel like the Rams are still going to win that division. Nothing has really changed about that. For baseball, the Nats and the Dodgers had a great little game there last night. The Dodgers were up 3-0. They blew it. Clayton Kershaw. Everyone knows Clayton Kershaw is one of the best pitchers of our generation, but his postseason ERA is 4.5. It's not really good. He's just been pretty bad in the playoffs his whole life. You know what I mean? He's always had a choking moment. He doesn't have a ring on his finger. And the Nats, I'm proud of the Nats because they never won a playoff series before. They really needed something to spark this team. Their team is a championship caliber team. I don't know if they could beat the Yankees, but they're probably the second best team right now. Granted, if the Astros win, they're probably the third. But they're playing the Cardinals now. And the Cardinals also had a storied game as well because the Cardinals, they put up a 10 spot in the first inning against the Braves. They shattered hearts of Atlanta fans everywhere. They did this yesterday, which was actually 2 years, 8 months, and 3 days since the Falcons choked the Super Bowl, which is kind of ironic, 28-3. So anything related to 28-3, it's just a bad sign for Atlanta fans. It just breaks their heart. The Astros and the Rays also play tonight. That's going to be an interesting game. We're going to have to see what goes down there. We got Garrett Cole versus Tyler Glasnow. If you're a Yankees fan like me, you got to be rooting for the Rays in this one. You don't want to really play the Astros that much. Granted, if you do play the Astros, it is what it is. You're ready for any competition. But you do want the Rays. The Rays, their pitching doesn't really scare us. We've owned them all year. Their bats just aren't really there. We know that we could beat the Rays. The Astros, on the other hand, they're a tough team for us. It would be a struggle for us to beat them. It's not impossible, but it's just a little bit harder. So that's going to be an interesting game tonight. The Astros are almost minus 300 for the betting line. So got to think the Astros do pull that one out. But we're just going to have to wait and see. The Rays, they're getting hot. They're 2-0. 2-0 recently. So this is game 5. We're going to see what happens there. The Nats do play the Cardinals in the NLCS, and the Nats are currently minus 130 to win the series. I think the Nats are going to win that series, so I'm going to do a little future bet on the show, get into that in the best bets. I'm going to add them, though, to win the series. I do think they win easily. I think they just have the better pitching matchup all the way through. The Cardinals got a little lucky versus the Braves, to be honest. It happens. Their pitching just got, Michaelis had a good game. Flaherty's just been going insane. I don't know if Flaherty could keep up what he's been doing just because the Nats know him better a little bit. They've also just kind of got to depend on Wainwright. Wainwright's a little too old for me, man. I don't really want to trust him. I'm going to take Strasburg and Scherzer. That's the easy way to go out. And the Nats, man, there's a little bit of magic in this team. There's just there's something about this team that's just easy to fall in love with. They got grit. They know how to come back. They play as a team. They got 2 superstars with Rendon and Soto. Lots to like with the Nats, so I feel like that's a good way to go. We got some best bets, though. Jarny, 6-8. We'll do the record recap. Jarny, 6-8. I'm 33-19. Malik's 18-12. Ty is 19-7. Malik, what bets you got this week for us?
I got the Chiefs minus 4.5. I'm not really high on that, but I got to rock with my Chiefs. I still think they're gonna pull it off. I got the Seahawks minus 1.5. That's like too easy. Like they should be minus like 4. They're gonna like fly by the Browns. Browns just suck. I got Philly plus 3. I don't think the Vikings are gonna get it done. Vikings are like a bad team that just looks good.
Jeez.
And same with the Eagles, to be honest. I'm going to just ride with the Eagles on this one. And I got Rams minus 3. This is like a no-brainer. Like, this isn't even a serious game for the Rams. Like the 49ers are like a fake undefeated. Like, they're not that, like, it's not going to stay long. And Falcons minus 2.5.
Yeah, rocking with the Falcons?
Yeah.
You clowning me all those Falcons bets.
I mean, they suck, but they're playing the Cardinals, so who cares?
All right, I got the Giants plus 17 tonight. I love that. I think they pull it off. Seems like a no-brainer to me. Not the upset. I think they just pull off the spread, though. Like I said, expect the Pats to kick a lot of field goals, run the ball. A lot of time being wasted. Danny Dimes will get like 13 points, 14 points. Shouldn't be that surprising to me if to see them cover. Vikings minus 3. I disagree with Malik on this. I think the Vikings are still a good team. I think they have a really good defense that plays especially well at home. I'd be shocked if the Eagles put up more than 20, 24 points on them. So I expect the Vikings to do their job. The Eagles secondary sucks. So the thing with the Eagles is every team throws on them for tons and tons and tons of yards. Kirk Cousins, he's not the best quarterback, but whatever. It is what it is. Got to expect Kirk Cousins to get right here. I think he's going to be okay at home. I haven't really bet the Vikings much. I bet them against the Bears. It is what it is. The Bears are just their weakness. That D-line, there's something about that D-line that they just don't like. The Eagles are good at stopping the run, but Dalvin Cook is pretty much a beast. You know what I mean? He's better than Aaron Jones, so disregard everything you remember about them stopping the run versus the Packers. That was just a one-time thing. Aaron Jones isn't really that good. Dalvin Cook is the truth, though. So I think they're going to run the ball. They're going to throw the ball. They're going to have a good time on offense. Plus, at home, in a must-win game, feel like they got that. Jags minus 1. Like I said earlier, this is Bridgewater's death game. Gardner Minshew, they played really good against the Panthers. They just had a lot of turnovers. The fact that they even hung in that game, had a chance to tie it at the end, it's pretty insane. And got to show some respect to them. They're at home now. The Saints, they're really not the same team on the road. That's common. You know, we all know this. The Saints, when they're at home, they're 16 times better than they are on the road. Just how it is. I'm still with Teddy Bridgewater. I like that. I like that a lot because the Saints kind of run-of-the-mill team with Teddy Bridgewater. Granted, they have been getting good wins, but Jags are just a better team in this matchup, getting them on the cheap at home. I like that. And then my favorite bet of the week is the Rams minus 3. I absolutely love the Rams. I think they win this game. This is a lock in my opinion. The 49ers, they're a good team. You know, they're cool. You got to show them respect, but they're just not capable of beating the Rams. The Rams play a lot better at home. Jared Goff is a much better quarterback at home. I don't really care about – I think actually with Gurley being out or potentially being out, Malcolm Brown's probably going to be an upgrade because Malcolm Brown is a good running back. You know, we know what he's capable of. That O-line could do its magic. Brandon Cooks, like I said, he might be out. I'm not really too worried about that. They're going to get Everett involved. Everett's still a good tight end. Kupp, obviously, you know, what could I not say about Kupp? The 49ers are just going to run the ball a lot. You know, Jimmy Garoppolo, we know what he's capable of. He's kind of being iffy. He hasn't really had a good game yet this season. I don't think he's gonna. I just think, you know, we overrated him as a quarterback. They win games because of the system. I think the Rams, you know, with extra time, they're going to be able to exploit that system. They saw that game on Monday. They know exactly what's going on. Ty, what are you rocking with for this week?
All right, as you guys know, we are currently in the NBA preseason. And tonight we have a very special lock bet. We got the Timberwolves versus the Warriors tonight. Warriors money line is definitely a lock bet. They took that L against the Lakers. Expect Curry to come out, you know, not play hard this preseason, but they're going to do their thing. They got Draymond, they got the rest of the roster. This is a lock. Warriors money line.
Okay, no football bets, though? You're not taking nothing football? Taking this week off?
This week off for football after that heartbreaking loss with the Browns.
Sheesh. All right, I respect it. You got to know when to fold them, know when to walk away. That's, you know, the gambling song. But thank you guys for tuning in. Short podcast this week. We'll be back Monday with full recap. We'll preview the Monday night game. We'll talk about the Chargers and the Steelers as well from the Sunday night game. Couldn't really get into it today. Thank you guys, as always, for listening. Be sure to follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram, at TU Sports Pod. You could also listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts, at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, basically wherever you get your podcasts. Podbean, the whole thing. Thank you guys, as always, for listening. I'm Brock, and I'm out.
I'm leaking them out.
We're everywhere, we're anywhere. I'm calling them out.
I'm